you, sir. You got us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Fantastic. Yes, we hear you, sir.
Awesome.
Cool. We got a whole flood of people coming in right now all of a sudden, so which is of course good. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I like cutting it fine. You've got some of your buddies on here, Rabea.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Got Kai in the house. Eric's here.
Nice. Hello.
So.
I can hear them.
How's
it going, man? Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen your beautiful face.
Yeah. You know.
How you doing, man? You good?
Yeah, I'm all right. And yourself?
Yeah, I'm all right. All right. You know how it is. Same bleep, different day.
Yeah. How's your foot?
My leg. Oh, it's screwed. Yeah. It's screwed. It's quite painful.
Oh, sorry.
I've got it just out straight in front of me right now.
Did you break it or?
Huh?
Did you break it or?
I didn't break it, but I twisted the knee.
Ah, okay. Ooh.
I could have torn some stuff internally. I'm not sure.
Ow.
But we'll see. We'll find out. I got a scan on Saturday, so we'll see.
But how long is it until you can skate again then?
A couple months, a few months maybe. We'll see. I'm really upset about it. I really want to skate because it's summertime now and I can't. So
weather's getting perfect for it, of course.
I know. It's just my luck. So.
I hear you on that one. Yeah. And I can relate to your pain. I've had many leg operations over the years. I know what it's like to have those issues. So yeah.
Yeah. It's not fun.
Yeah.
Particularly knee stuff, but oh
well. Right hip, left knee, and both ankles. So yeah, wow. I can easily relate.
Yeah, that's hardcore.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and get started at least. So thank you very much, sir, for doing this for us. We really appreciate it.
Nice one. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, our pleasure, believe me. We've had the honor of having a lot of the other members of Frog Leap so far. You and Hannah are the last two. Okay. Hopefully, if we get the chance, we can have Hannah maybe next month or sometime if she can work it into her schedule.
Yeah.
But I'm Charlie or Charles, whichever works. I'm out of Chicago, the suburbs of Chicago. Also here, we've got Jessica and her fiance, Sam. Sam, this is Rabea. Rabea, this is Sam. Want to be sure to cover the introduction there.
Hello.
I'm going to get yelled at later for that comment, I'm sure.
You're in trouble now.
I know I am. Yep. And they're based out of San Diego. We've got Erin, who's coming to you from sunrise Sunday morning in Queensland, Australia.
Wow.
So you are quite literally seeing the sun coming up behind her right now.
Yes.
Yep.
Amazing.
And then our fourth of our quartet is we've got Scotty out of the UK.
Ooh.
Hello.
Hello.
And I just wanted to give you a quick introduction to the four of us here. And obviously, obviously you're cohorts in crime. And we've got other fans and whatnot here who will be watching and listening along. Most of everyone else is going to be remaining muted, and we're going to be going through a bunch of questions that we have ahead of time. If anyone does have questions, throw them into the chat. We'll try and interject them in as we're going along here. But to get us started, Jessica is going to go ahead and start with a bunch of background questions and whatnot, and then we'll pass them around as we go along. So cool. Off to you, Jess.
Yay! I've been really excited for this interview. Sam and I are huge fans.
I remember meeting you guys at the NAMM show.
Yeah, we got our Tosca sweatshirt.
Oh wow, nice.
we got the album.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
I even busted out this guy I got during quarantine.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, thank you for getting one of those.
Of course, we were super excited about it.
Good. How are you both? Are you good?
We're good.
Hanging in there.
Stuck at home like everybody else.
Yep.
Yeah.
But making it work. No conventions or anything, so
yeah,
we're just stuck.
Entertainment business is down right now.
Yeah.
Well, sticking with a few questions with all your merch and stuff, I wanted to know, do you have any more designs coming into the sleeveless apparel line that you have?
Yes, we've been working kind of behind the scenes, we decided we wanted to sort of clear out everything that we'd done up until this point, and we've got a load more designs that we've actually been discussing this week. And I've got a couple of things which I can't show you yet, but really exciting things that we've done, like more custom to Sleepless, which is really cool, which will be like within the next maybe 2 months we'll be launching everything. So there's loads of new stuff. Yeah, really excited to it's taken a while because of things, obviously, with the pandemic, and trying to get samples and stuff like that and check everything. It's taken a lot longer than we'd planned, but we're finally at the point where, yeah, in the next month or two we'll be able to drop it all. So yeah, really excited about that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Super excited about that.
Yeah.
I know there were a few designs I was really excited about, but they sold out really quickly, and I was like, God damn.
Oh, okay. Well, there's some really cool new stuff, actually. Lots of different influences of art style as well. So yeah, it should be exciting. There should be a good range of stuff. So
Is there any art that you personally did, or is it other artists that you're working with?
I generally haven't done art myself in quite a long time. I've collaborated with all the stuff that we've done so far has been a collaboration between me and the artist, just sort of discussing the kind of thing that would be cool and tweaking things. But myself actually drawing to a level where I'd put it on a t-shirt, I'm not sure. We'll see. There'll be a few things maybe here and there in the future, but yeah, that would be cool to do, but not yet.
Awesome. Well, I definitely look forward to the new designs that come out. Another thing we wanted to know was kind of what was your Frog Leap origin story? How did that whole relationship begin?
It will have been at the NAMM show, actually. I think it would have been maybe 3, maybe 4 years ago now at NAMM, and I was in charge of running the because I was there with Chapman guitars, and I was in charge of doing the stage where, you know, all the artists would jump up and play a track or whatever, and Leo had a montage of all his different songs, like a little mix thing he'd done. So obviously I met him because I needed to ask him what his tracks were and everything. So we got chatting, and the Chapman guitars guys had a house that we were also staying at, like an Airbnb, and all the artists were invited over, and yeah, it was really interesting because, like, obviously there was loads of people there, and people like Rob Scallon, awesome dude, and like loads of and Jared and people like that, and lots of big like influencers and stuff. And so everyone was like, it was kicking off. Everyone's having a good party, and Leo's like quite a chill guy, like quite quiet as well. And noticed that he was like, you know, not getting as stuck into the conversation as that I suppose I was as well, because I'm not particularly like the most sociable person in the room. Depends really. And I think we got chatting there, and then we got chatting a bit more at the NAMM show. And I think it was a couple of months after it finished, and he emailed me and saying, I'm doing a cover. Do you want to do a guitar solo? And it was Get Lucky, the Get Lucky cover. So I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'd be well up for that. So I did the solo. And then it wasn't long after that when he was like, hey, do you want to like come over to Norway, like hang out? So I was like, yeah, that'd be sick. So I flew over. I think I flew over with Hannah the first time, and we were just hanging out. Yeah, it was basically just getting to know each other. It started out more that way. Like, we got along really well, and we like a lot of the same kind of music from the same era.
Speaking of Leo, the gentleman's here.
Is he? Hey, nice. Well, there you go. So he can correct me if I'm wrong on any of this stuff, but yeah, we got along really well. And then I think following that, it was me and Hannah went, and he was doing a cover. It was the Lavik guitar show, actually, I think, if I remember. We were hanging out there, and he was doing the Africa cover. So we did that, and then we went to the Lavik guitar show, and then obviously the cover came out, and it went crazy. Everyone really enjoyed that cover, and yeah, just carried on going over every now and again and hanging out. And then I think we did the following year, we did the Lavik guitar show, and I got on stage and played as well. And I think it was not long after that, Leo called, and he was like, you know, I'm thinking of doing this live. Like, I think it'd be really cool if we got a chance to do it live, you know, like the Africa stuff and like a bunch of other covers, and we'll, you know, we can work it out. But like, you know, I'm not sure it'd be, he was like, I only want to do it if I've got like a band of dudes that like I trust and I know, and we get along and it's all good. And so like, you know, I've got a drummer and a bass player in mind, good old friends of mine, and I'm wondering if you want to play guitar because, like, you know, we're good friends and I think it would be fun. And I was just like, absolutely. That's the best thing ever. It's like, yeah, this is going to be loads of fun. So it was a no-brainer, and then it was cool because obviously Hannah gets to get involved with all the stuff that all the songs she does, and yeah, that was basically how it came about. It's kind of a very natural progression of sort of friendship, and then turned into like the band stuff. So yeah, very cool. I think I pretty much got it right.
Is that correct, Leo? Is that how it happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
Awesome. Like when your songs came out, like especially like Africa, once you were done recording it, did you guys feel like, oh, this is gonna just blow up the internet, or were you like, oh, it's just gonna be one of my other covers?
Leo had already done most of it, I think, if I remember, or pretty much the whole thing, and it was more like, do I want to do guitar solo, and does Hannah want to do the vocal? But it was so yeah, when it all got finished, I suppose it was like, yeah, it was loads of fun. The thing that me and Leo were really excited about was the outro track, because we did that, I think it was either the morning or the evening before we set off to the guitar festival, and we must have just gone, what about this riff? Yeah, that's cool. What about this one? And we just sort of stuck them all together. Must have only taken about half an hour, and then the next day Leo had like programmed a load more drums to it, and it was like, yeah, that's sick, that's well heavy. And we were really excited about putting that at the end. So. And then the video was loads of fun to do as well. My neck was killing me after that. It was a good one.
That's probably one of my most like favorite outros. I think a lot of it's the same for a lot of people, and that's just one of the sickest guitar riffs.
Just filthy riffs. Yeah, that's it. Just filthy riffs and again, third-degree gurns.
Also, like with a lot of your videos that you put out, you do like the beginning is just like a few riffs in the beginning. There's times where I'm like, I just want to put all of them together and just listen to that. Not that I don't want to hear your reviews on the gear and stuff, but I want to take those few little snippets that you do in the beginning of your songs and just lay those out together.
Yeah.
I put in a request.
It's funny. Yeah, I should do that more. I think I get a bit like, oh, people don't want to just hear nothing but guitar play. I don't know. You know, you second guess yourself on YouTube quite a lot with things like this. So gear videos and stuff. So
we like them. We like it.
That's good. Good to know.
Actually, I had another question, but I think this one would better come from Charlie, because this is something he deals with.
Yeah. So as you can see from my signature, my last name has a whopping 5 letters in it. Properly pronounced, it's Bugie. It's a German last name. So when I was a kid, we started keeping track of this. My family has collected 34 different spellings and 17 different pronunciations of my last name.
Wow.
With 5 letters. How many different ways has Rabea been spelled, been pronounced? And what's some of your favorite of the bad pronunciations of your name that you've had over the years?
Yeah, I think like school was always the best, and you always remember like when you had a substitute teacher would come in, and whenever I saw the substitute teacher, I was like, they're gonna struggle with that one.
Oh yeah, ditto, no question.
You just sit and wait, like just waiting for them to sort of say it. And yeah, I think like, what's the worst one I had? I think Rubier. And I was like, and I got sent out of the class for that, because I remember she said it, and I looked at her and I said, Miss, where do you see a letter U in my name? Like, she looked at the name, it's like Rabea. Where's the U? She goes, Rubier. I said, yeah, where's the letter U in my name? She went, you need to leave now. To get up and leave. Wasn't good. Ruben. Again, I think it's almost like people start trying to read it, give up, and then just jump to the next best thing they can think of. So it's Ruben, Rubier, Roberto, Rabea, Rabea. Rabea is quite a common one, Rabea. So, but I mean, you know, it's an unusual name. So I think Rubier was definitely the one that had my jaw on the floor. I was like, how did you even get to that?
I'll bet, yeah.
So.
It sounds like that one DJ that's on YouTube. Was it Mark Ribier?
Ribier, yeah.
Ribier.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's been some funny ones over the years, but yeah, beer. That's why I just say beer. It's just easier, isn't it? People remember the name beer because it's something we drink a lot. So
Agreed. No question. Yes.
yeah, there you go.
See, my next question has to do with some of your buddies.
Okay.
You've posted some gem photos of your mates, Ben and Dan, for their birthdays. Have you ever feared any retaliation that they're going to embarrass the fro with some embarrassing photos?
Of me?
Of you.
Oh God.
You posted some really funny ones of your friends.
Yeah. I've got them on my phone, and I'm that guy. Like, if I've got an opportunity to, I'll just do it. And at the time, I don't think I think about the repercussions of my actions. So like, yeah, I reckon there's definitely some questionable photos of me lurking around on someone's computer, which they could definitely throw me under the bus with at some point in the future. Yeah, I'm sure one year, I think it was my sister one year posted a photo on Facebook. This is years ago. And it was me at probably like, I don't even think I was like, I think I must have been 8 or 9 years old. And I got out of the bath and I had like bubble bath, just like covering the private bits, like, and I was stood like in the doorway, and she put it on Facebook. That was pretty bad. Yeah. But nothing too bad yet, but I am worried about it. We'll see. I'm just going to have to keep racking it up. Like, every opportunity I get to get one more embarrassing photo of my friends, I'll do that. So
I look forward to those. Those are some of my favorites that you post.
Oh, I'm glad you like them. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad my work's been noticed.
I think it was Ben was the last one you posted some pictures of him, and I was just like, I would be so pissed.
What, with the bandana and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I'll do it again. I'll show the world. How about that? That'd be fun.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
Oh.
Is it this one?
Yeah. That's some white chocolate right there.
There you go.
It's majestic.
It's majestic.
Yeah. I'm
Kai's
sure
getting you back.
Kai's got a good one there.
Yeah. Who's got a good one?
Kai.
Kai does.
Oh, is that me? Oh God, yeah. Wow. I hope that's how good I look when I'm 70. I hope my hair still has that color when I'm 70.
I hope I'd have that much hair when I was 70.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
I don't think his hair's going anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be tragic, wouldn't it? We might fall out in the next 5 years. That'd be. I hope I'm not one of those people that like doesn't accept it, you know, so that I just end up with just like a little sort of afro tuft around the side of my head or something like that. Like, no, I still have an
I think you have some good friends that would tell you otherwise.
I
Would set you straight.
I think Hannah would definitely set me straight. She wouldn't be seen dead outside with me with my just a little afro tuft around the side. So.
That's awesome. Well, let's hope she does.
Yeah.
She'll let you know. So a common theme in a lot of our recent interviews is we've asked people, bands, about their wardrobe, especially dudes.
Okay.
Have you ever owned a pair of like pure 80s tight leather pants and gone on stage with them?
No, because to be perfectly honest, I've never been able to fit into anything that like that. I haven't really tried. I mean, no, in terms of stage clothes, for me, it was always the most comfortable thing. It's only in recent times that I would even question, you know, even consider wearing something like that. Do you know what? That might be something we need to do when we come back, man. If Leo's listening, you know, we'll get it. We'll get the leopard skin. Not, what do you call it? Spandex. We got to try it. No, I definitely have a go this time around. But yeah, no, to tell you the truth, I couldn't pull off anything like that.
Well, if you guys add that song "Jump" to your playlist, I mean, you've got to dress the part, right?
I would.
You've already got the clothes.
I would definitely chuck a pair of spandex on for that. I'm just saying.
You guys heard it here. Make it happen. Okay, so my next question actually has to do with your trip to Japan.
Yeah.
and it seemed like it was kind of a whirlwind adventure of a trip. And I wanted to know some of the highlights and lowlights of that trip. And did you discover any bands in Japan while you were there? And I also wanted to know what song did you sing in the bar where you took the guitar off the wall?
That's a great question. Yeah, well, Japan, that's just like the best trip I've ever had, like outside of like tours and stuff, because they were loads of fun, but like that trip was like, yeah, it was amazing. A really good friend of mine works with Boss, and he was like, oh, the guys want to bring a few of you out to try out some new gear and meet the entire like Boss team that do all the hand-built stuff in Hamamatsu in Japan. So I was like, I always wanted to go to Japan since I was a kid, since seeing like photos of Tokyo. It was when I saw a photo back when the flights used to land in the city. So there was some really famous photos of just like jumbo jets like in the middle of skyscrapers, like in the middle of a city. And I just remember thinking like, I have to see that in real life. So getting the opportunity to go was incredible. It was like about 2 weeks, and we got to go to the Boss factory and meet all the guys and see everything be built. And then we got to stay in Tokyo for like 4 or 5 nights. And that was like the highlight, definitely being in Tokyo, because all those tight knit streets and stuff, and all the like, it's just crazy, all the lights. It's the most stimulating place I think I've ever been. And I think one of the highlights for me was I had jet lag, and it must have been 4 or 5 in the morning, and I couldn't sleep. And it was a proper like movie picturesque thing. So I stood up out of my bed and opened the curtains, and you just have like the city lights, you know, because it's obviously it's such a dense city, so it's just lit up. And I remember thinking, that just looks amazing. I have to go down there. And I thought it'd be like quite quiet. And I left the hotel lobby, and it's just like packed with people everywhere at like 4:30 in the morning. Everyone's just, you know, there's McDonald's open, there's people queuing for it. I'm like, at 4:30 in the morning, what's wrong with you people? Like, and then like down the street, everyone's just like busy. And I just stood and just looked around, and there's a little bit of drizzle as well. So it was just a really like picturesque type moment. And I remember thinking, yeah, this is the coolest thing. Like, I never thought I'd get to do this. A low point would be we went to this traditional Japanese restaurant, and they'd done their best, because at the time I was vegan, and they'd done their best to accommodate that. So we went to this restaurant, and they like handed everyone out this stuff, and they came in, they opened it up, and it was literally like 2 or 3 bits of like pak choi, just like a bit warm. It wasn't even like seasoned or anything, it was just like a bit warm. So I was like, okay, I can handle that. The next thing, it was just like some water chestnuts and some carrots and whatever. And I was like, okay, cool, bit of soy sauce, whatever. And then the third thing that came out was like, it looked like I've forgotten the name of that dish, and it's like a dessert, and it looks like it's like a wobbly cream thing. I forget what you call the dessert, but it looks like a wobbly cream thing on a plate.
Panna cotta.
Yes, that's the one. It looks like that. And I was like, I have no idea what that is. And it turns out it was some type of tofu. And I usually like tofu, but this was like, yeah, it was pretty jiggly. And it was the texture was so difficult to eat. And you sat around, and it's, you know, like the other thing with Japanese, with culture and stuff, is so much respect. So you have to show so much signs of respect and stuff. And I started to panic about like, is it really rude if I like don't eat this, or like what do I do, because I can't physically eat this food. It's like the texture of it was just like, oh, I can't even describe how bad it was, but it was so bad. And I just had to like just hack it. I just had to like eat this, and just like, I remember thinking, if I like take a mouthful and then like hold my nose, but like casually so no one can see, you know, like turn with my like this kind of thing, and I'll like swallow, then I don't have to taste it. The whole ordeal lasted about 15 minutes. And yeah, by the end of it, I was really like exhausted mentally, physically. And I didn't know, yeah, that was the low point, I think. Definitely.
Awesome. Do you remember what song you sang at that bar where you snatched the guitar off the wall?
Oh, we did so many. Me, Mick, and Dan. There was more. So we all had a guitar. We did Hey Jude. Had to come out. Hey Jude
Thank
had
you.
to be played. It was like 5 a.m, and like I say, the size of the bar was like tiny. Yeah, everyone was crammed in. We played Wonderwall by Oasis, which much to my disgust, but we did. Was it Hard Day's Night? We played some Eagles, Smoke on the Water. These are just the ones I can remember. Everybody was really drunk. Yeah, we ended on Hey Jude. Yeah, that was great. That was a great night. Yeah, that was really
They didn't mind you just taking instruments off the wall and be like, no, we got this, we're professionals, and just start playing along.
To be perfectly honest, I think at that point in the evening, because we were drunk, they might have done, but we were just like, oh, guitars, like grab the guitars, just like, it's cool, we know what we're doing, just like started to play. And I think when we kicked in and everyone started singing, you know, and like harmonies started coming out. There's 3 of us, like 3-part harmonies and 3 guitars. They all just sort of went, all right, yeah, this is great. Just like just started kicking off with us. It was great. It was a great night.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I've
did
always
it.
wanted to go to Japan, and
Yeah.
it's a dream. He's gotten to go. He
Yeah.
went with a artist for a comic convention. He told me all about it. So I saw that you went. I was like, I need to hear. Like I heard
Yeah.
his stories. I needed to hear some Japan stories.
I think yes, I absolutely. Sorry, I think my WhatsApp was on. I'm just going to turn it off. Sorry about that. Yeah, Japan, 100% recommend it. It's. I'm desperate to go back. You know, like even without a purpose, like, I would happily just wander about for 2 weeks and then come home.
yeah. It's so beautiful everywhere you go there.
Yeah, and there's just so much to take in, all the different districts and stuff, like the arcade district and stuff like that. So whoever's watching, if you've not been and you're thinking about it, hands down the coolest place I've ever been. And the
Did
guitar
you happen
shop
to
as well.
meet any Japanese artists while you were out there?
No,
musicians?
to be honest, we didn't really have the chance to do like go out to bars or go out to venues and stuff. We made it to one metal club where I managed to get them to play Pantera, but that was about the limit of the kind of bandy vibes, because we were, like I say, we were at the Boss Factory, and then when we came through to the city, there was like, because there's a group of us, it was like one person wanted to do that, one person wanted to do that. So yeah, it was, I think if I went back, I'd like to go to some local venues and try and catch some bands and stuff. So that would be wicked.
Awesome. Yeah, we've discovered some post-rock bands that are out of Japan. There's a handful of them. Who knew they came out of Japan? And they're really good. And so I think if we ever do go, we'd like to catch some of their shows.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I'd like to hear some of that stuff. That'd be cool.
I'll send some names your way.
Please
some
do.
stuff to check out.
Yeah.
So I didn't want you to feel left out, because we've asked all the other guys in Frog Leap to do this. So we've asked all the rest of them to show us their guitar face. So we don't want you to feel left out. So we're going to ask you the same question.
My guitar face?
Yes, we want to see your guitar face.
All apparently when I play guitar, I go like that. So I guess my guitar face would be this. Apparently I chew the notes when I play. I don't actually, unless there's a really filthy riff, and then it will probably be like, so particularly when we play Party Rock Anthem and we kick into the gang, like for me, I'm just like, right, it's got to be the full on, like you've just smelt something really bad. Just, yeah. But it has to be loud. Like I have to feel the drums, like particularly when Trolls kicks into that groove and Leo screams. It's just like, yeah, that's why I can't control it most of the time. The gun comes out, kicks in.
Yeah, that's the guitar face I remembered.
Yeah.
yeah. So that's a 3rd degree gun. Yeah.
I think the first time we did this, when I asked them and they were going through everybody, I was like, oh yeah, Rabea's guitar face. You look and see you smelled a fart.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So it's one of those, it's the grimace, like when someone plays a really filthy groove on a drum kit, if they just break into like a sleazy, just makes, I'm thinking about it now and I can feel my face start to do that thing where I'm like, oh yeah, it's gross. It's a dirty groove. Yeah. So that would be the same thing.
Well, that's awesome. Now you can join the rest of them. Thank
There
you
we
for
go.
doing that.
You're welcome.
So I also wanted to ask about streaming services. And I know that there's a difference, I think, in what you get back as an artist. Is there one that gives you more profit or more of an income off of it that we should, as fans, kind of particularly pay more attention to than the others?
I appreciate the question. I guess, like, so I use DistroKid, which basically like do all the main ones. I think it's, to be honest, I think Bandcamp's probably the only one I know where, because I always just put my music on there for set your own price. Like, I just think it's easier doing that. Like, then you'll get somebody chucks me like 20p, then someone might chuck me like £20. So at the end of the day, I think that was probably the most flexible one. But to be honest, it's for me, if people are listening to it, wherever they're listening to it, that's the main thing. So, but I think it probably, as far as I'm aware, all the other streaming platforms are under DistroKid. So all I know is that Bandcamp's the only one where you could theoretically pay whatever you wanted to.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We'll put that information when we post the video. Just, I think we want to be able to give back to the artists, especially now when you guys can't go out, you can't tour. Like, what's our best way of giving back to you guys who provide
thanks.
the music to us?
I really appreciate that. Nice one.
Well, on that note, I'm going to hand you off to Scotty. She's got a few questions for you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your questions. I appreciate it.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
So my questions are, if you could go to NAMM with no work schedule, what booths are you hitting up and what events do you want to attend?
At the NAMM show. Oh. So if I didn't have anything to do, I'd definitely float by the Fender booth. Definitely float by the Fender booth, because Fender's just the one where you get all the really beautiful guitars, all the beautiful Fenders, all the relic Fender Strats and stuff. So, but you're not allowed to touch them. And the other thing is that by the time the show starts, there's like 50 million white cards stuffed into every single Fender Strat from a dealer that wants to buy it. So you don't actually get to see the guitar because it's just covered in cards. I definitely have to float by the Washburn booth in case Nuno Betancourt is there doing a signing, because, you know, he's the man. So I'd need to float by. I did it last year, actually. He was there. I think it was last year. And I walked past, and I saw him, and he was talking to some guy, and I was like, oh, I'm too far away to like make a beeline for him now. So I'll do a lap and I'll come back round, but this time I'll come back closer so that I could be like, oh, hey man, like run over and get to go and say hi. So I did that. I don't know, really. Just I like to go down to Hall E, where there's a lot of new brands that are, you know, releasing cool stuff that you don't really see. Most of the time when the show starts, everyone goes straight downstairs because that's where all the smaller, cool, up and coming brands are. Events wise, Schecter Party is always usually pretty good, because, and the Jackson Party, because they usually put on some wicked bands and it's free bar, or at least it was Schecter was a free bar. Yeah, it's again, NAMM's one of those events where, and Leo could, I remember, me and Leo were planned on doing quite a few things at last NAMM, but every time was the NAMM before, but you get so busy and you get pulled in every direction to do, oh, come and do this, or come and try that out. Oh, you got to come to this event. Oh, you're going to come for dinner tonight. Or you're going to, and before you know it, the whole thing's done and you've got massive bags under your eyes and you're exhausted. But yeah, I think it's on next year. So hopefully going to be going.
I was going to say, is it on, Jess? She knows. She's not too far away.
As far as I know, I think it's planned to happen next year.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think they announced 2022 already.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, he's got a convention there that's canceled, but I think by that time,
right,
should be going.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely try and get there then. I mean, provided nothing, you know, provided there isn't like a tour in there, then definitely would love to. To be honest, we miss coming to the States. Oh, that's my water bottle. We miss coming to the States. We have a great time every time we come over. So really love to come back, like spend more time there if we can.
there any sort of US cities that you actually have not been like had a chance to go to that you actually want to visit?
I haven't been to San Diego, and apparently that's really cool. So I'd like to go to San Diego.
Jess can hook you up. She's right there.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Yeah, we've never been there, and apparently that's an amazing place to go visit.
Yeah. Cool.
Have
Yep.
you been?
Pool party in October.
That's right. Cool party.
Sounds incredible. Oh my god, that sounds amazing. I'm trying to think now. I don't know, because we kind of did a lot of, when Chapman Guitars did a couple of tours, we did like the East Coast and the West Coast, and we did the Midwest. So we kind of hit up a lot of the big cities doing that. But definitely I'd like to spend more time in New York, because that's lots of fun. And again, like any part of California, to be honest, the West Coast is so sick. Like I'd love to spend more time there, and maybe check out more Texas as well. Texas seems cool.
I have to admit, California is like on my top 10 places to visit. It's beautiful. Such a lovely state.
Yeah.
See you soon, Jess.
We agree.
I'm just going to say Chicago's not bad either. I'm just throwing that out there. So
Yeah, no, I'd love to. Yeah, to be fair, I actually think we've been to Chicago, so that's one place I'd like to visit.
we have some of the best food in the friggin' country. You want to eat? Here's where you want to come. Yeah.
Oh man,
That's true.
Yeah, I do like to eat, so that's the other cool thing about going to the States. The food, it's pretty epic. So.
Oh my god! Right, you can take this question as however you want to take it. I'm just like, oh Jesus. Do you ever get any noise complaints from your neighbors?
Any noise complaints from neighbors? Luckily, no, because where I'm sat right now, where I film my YouTube videos, it's in the attic. So there's a bedroom on that side, and on that side, I don't think they have anything. So I don't really get any noise complaints up here. And yeah, Hannah, yeah, to be fair, we haven't really. In the house before this, we lived next to students, and they were more noisy than we were, partying all the time. So yeah, we're pretty good. We're pretty lucky here. I mean, sometimes on a Saturday morning, I'll get a little bit ahead of myself and be playing Meshuggah at about 8:30, which isn't exactly the best thing to do. And I like to get fresh air as well. So I open the windows, my Velux windows, and obviously like blasting Meshuggah out, you probably hear it all up and down the street. So I've definitely done that a couple of times.
Yeah, it's definitely a way to wake somebody up in it.
Yeah.
If he's a fan of Meshuggah, we know who to introduce him to then. If he does actually get out to San Diego, then.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really? Who knows Meshuggah?
Go ahead, Jess.
Oh, we're friends with Gerardo. He's the I forget which
General manager.
General manager.
Yeah.
He's changed. General manager of Nuclear Blast Records.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
yeah, we interviewed him a few weeks ago now, wasn't it? So
Yes.
really
Yeah.
cool.
Nice.
I'll get his. I'm actually literally going to render his video tomorrow, and we'll have it posted within the next week for his interview.
Nice.
I'm going to give you some skating questions because I have to say that when I have a look on Instagram, that's the sort of stuff I'm like, oh, what are you doing now? So why did you pursue music and not like go down a skating route?
So, well, I fully intended to want to skate, you know, when I was young, and obviously injured myself, snapped my ACL, and started playing guitar. So yeah, to be honest, yeah, from the age of like sort of 11 to 15, 16, when I started playing guitar, that's kind of what I was focused on. I played drums, but to be honest, all I wanted to do was skate. Because it was at that age, you know, it was like teenager, and it was just loads of fun, and all your mates were doing it, and it was really, really great. And then I got injured, and yeah, at that point, it was like I need to do something, and playing guitar was definitely a way out of being so bored over summer, and it kind of stuck after that. And I think it's only really recently that I've found the love for it in the last year, and I think that's more because I lost a load of weight, and then I was able to do it physically again, like I was when I was a teenager. So but now I've injured myself again, so now I can't do it.
Bless you.
Yeah.
What was the first trick you ever learned?
I think it was a pop shove it, I think. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, must have been. I couldn't kickflip for about 2 years. So
what is the most difficult trick you can do?
the most difficult trick I can do is, in terms of technicality, is probably a nollie 360 flip.
Nice.
But in terms of difficulty for, like, you know, take some beans to get you to do it, would be there's a, in fact, I shared it on Instagram the other day. There's like a little gap of 2 ramps, and it doesn't look anything, but when you're going down and then up it, it's huge and super scary. And to do that trick over it takes a lot of telling yourself you'll be all right.
Yeah, it is. It's one of them, and you've just got to commit to it. If you're going to do it, commit to it, because if you hesitate, you're going to land on your face.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I didn't commit to it, and that's how I hurt my leg. So, but I reckon I'll be back in a couple of months, maybe.
Yeah. Have you got like a skate park sort of like playlist of tunes that you like listening to?
I can't listen to music when I skate. I like to hear the wheels on the concrete. Yeah, I find it really distracting if I've got any, like, if I'm listening to music. If I'm just getting to the skate park, it's fine. Like if I'm just cruising down the road, but if I'm skating, and I like to be able to hear everything. Kind of throws me, it affects my balance or something. I don't know, I find it,
So everybody that, you know, grew up like playing games and stuff, obviously like everybody knows Tony Hawk. But is there any other sort of like skateboarders that you look at and you want to like emulate or potentially meet, or, you know, just like your skateboarding heroes?
Yeah, Jeff Rowley, he's from Tony Hawk's. He's from Liverpool, actually, that guy, and he's a really, really good skater, and super authoritative skater, and somebody that's sort of had longevity in his career, and like that I really like as well. I used to be a big fan of Bam, but I think that was because I was at the age where like Bam Margera was a huge influence on teenage boys.
Yeah,
we were all just like, he's the coolest guy ever because he jumps out of like 20-story windows into swimming pools, you know, it's the coolest thing ever. So he was a big influence on me as a skater, and actually, I used to jump out of windows and stuff into we got videos of us doing it. It's so stupid. No wonder my dad was so angry when we used to watch those. We'd sit and be glued to the TV at these CKY videos and Jackass. And now I know why, because we used to just jump out of windows. We used to just think it was fun. So stupid. We used to I remember watching my friends challenge each other to eat as many boiled eggs as they could before they threw up. And I wouldn't do it because I knew how it was going to end. But all because of a stupid TV show.
They had to go all Cool Hand Luke, didn't they? Yeah.
I think one of your first YouTube videos is you and your friends standing around. Nobody would jump through this window onto like a pile of cushions and stuff. You're the only one that ran, jumped, and just whoop, right through it.
Yeah, dive through the hole of the serving hatch.
Yeah.
It's just like that, you know. That's exactly it. It's the kind of Jackass culture. We call it, where you like rear each other up to do something stupid. Could have gone so wrong as well. I remember once we got in that's in a warehouse where we used to have band practice, and in that same warehouse we got a forklift. We had this CD stereo radio thing that was just terrible. It just didn't work properly. So we're like, I've had enough. So we got a forklift with a pallet, and we got it, and we raised my friend all the way to the very top of the forklift, as high as it would go on the pallet, and then threw the CD player off. We just thought that was fun, again, because we're just stupid teenage boys. It was great, though. It was great fun.
Yeah, when you get older and you look back at some of the crazy stuff you go and you go, oh, why am I not dead? Why am I not dead? It's like, yeah. Is there any sort of dream skate park you'd want to visit?
To be honest, anywhere in LA.
Yeah.
Anywhere in LA. I went the last time I was there, and I wasn't skating, and I went to Hollywood High, which is a hugely famous spot, and I stood at the top of the stairs, and I just looked at it like, anyone that's decided to do this is mental. But yeah, just anywhere in LA. Next time I go to NAMM, in fact, this NAMM, I'm taking a board with me for sure, definitely.
Would you ever try surfing?
The only time I tried surfing, I haven't tried surfing since I've been a lighter person, because when I did, I remember thinking, yeah, I got this. And I remember this a bit of a wave came, so I'm like, yeah, stood up, and the board just went into the water because it was too heavy. Obviously, I wasn't, getting enough momentum for it to take me properly. But yeah, it just sank into the water, and I remember thinking, surfing's not for me.
It's better than the surfboard going this way, hooking to the ground. Boop, you just go flying.
Yeah, that would be harsh.
Do you see yourself as any sort of particular type of skater, like street, downhill, vert? Is there anything you sort of aspire to be, or are you just quite happy just having fun?
Definitely street. Street is most fun. Flip tricks, grinds, things like that. It's anything. I like it because there's a lot of skill there's skill involved in the whole side of skating, but particularly with trying to execute a flip trick, there's a very specific way to do it. So it's nice to, it sort of speaks to me in the same way like learning licks on the guitar does. There's a certain way to achieve that sound. There's a certain way to make the board flip in that way. And I think that's just something I find really addictive. So.
Thank you for talking to me. I'll pass you over to Charlie again.
Thank you for the questions.
As a nice little transition from skating to music hardware, were you ever able to get either a Prisma skateboard, a guitar, or a Prisma skateboard?
I have a Prisma skateboard, yeah.
Okay.
I got it from NAMM a few years ago. Went to the booth, especially. I saw some kid with one, and I was like, I have to get one of those. So I ran up to this kid, and I was like, where did you get that? And he's like, yeah, got it from there. So yeah, that's downstairs, 8.5. I don't think I'll skate it because it's a beautiful board. So
gotta respect the board, no question. Yeah. We do have a question for you from John, who's actually Megan's husband, who's one of our group regulars. Megan's the one who actually supplied us with a lot of the skateboarding questions. Actually, she's one of our resident pros on it. And John, who actually used to, John Gallick, he actually used to build skateboards for professional boarders back in the day too. Wow. His question is, what size and brand pick do you use and why? Is it for a particular better feel, durability, better sound?
This is going to sound like a shameless plug now, but I use my own Dunlop picks. So I got an opportunity to make my own flow pick from Dunlop.
Okay.
And it's a 1.5 mil. No, it's not. I think it's a 1 mil. It's a 1 millimeter Ultex pick. So it's got a tiny bit of flex in it, but it's made from a material that's a little bit softer, I think, than the other stuff that they use. And
we just had a wave of pics go across the cameras then.
Yeah, it's yeah, that's the pick I use because it works. I think I tried a flow pick. I'd been using Jazz 3 XL picks for a long time, that sort of size, and really enjoying them. And then my friend was like, it was a Frog Leap gig in London when we played at the Dome at Tufnell Park in London. And I remember specifically, for some reason, I didn't have the picks that I needed. And if you're a guitar player, obviously you understand like that's like a big problem, especially before the gig. And Max was like our photographer, merch guy, like tour manager, basically he does everything. He was like, yeah, I've got some picks. And he's like, have you tried the flow pick? So I tried it. It was a John Petrucci one. It's like a bit thicker than this, 2 mil. And it was amazing. Apart from the fact I dropped it more times than I ever drop a pick because of how thick it was, but it was the feel. And I remember having an incredible gig that night. And I remember thinking it was probably because of the pick. So yeah. Yeah. So it's the flow pick. It's like a one, I can't really even see that, but yeah. It's a flow
Very
pick.
cool. Okay, nice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I got Charles with a Yeah, Eric's Leo, we're all holding him up to the cameras there. Nice. Yeah. Okay. So obviously one of your biggest sources for videos is you do a lot of reviews on hardware. I'm sure a lot of us have seen them. I know I have. With your extensive personal studio, we've seen your amazing videos from your with your Grinding Gears albums. What do you use as your method for choosing your hardware for what you're going to incorporate into your own personal gear? Do you replace a piece of gear once you do a review and go, hey, this is really nice? Or do you just keep adding to your own personal collection and say, okay, if I want to do XYZ special requirement, it then goes into your personal collection? What do you use for your barometer to choose what makes the cut and what doesn't?
That's a good question. Because yeah, obviously when you're demoing, you know, the new thing from so many different brands, which is what ends up happening, at least for the last year or two now, it's like, hey, we got a new thing, you want to try it? Hey, we got a new thing, you want to try it? So you end up trying everything. And there's some things that you think that's definitely going to go on the board, like the Strymon Night Sky. I was like, yeah, I'm totally going to put that on the board, but actually it didn't have a place, you know. So usually the stuff that ends up going on my board are the ones that make the weird sounds, like the really weird stuff, usually some sort of fuzzy or modulated effect kind of pedal. Like anything like that, I tend to find I'll put to one side, because obviously, well, most of all the distortion tones I get from the amp, so I don't use any pedals for that. So all I really have on the board are pedals that are going to alter the sound away from the sort of source tone. So like that's going to be a fuzz or an octave or some sort of weird effect, or it's going to be reverb and delay. So for the most part, I've tried to keep it the same, and I might just update certain elements of it to just make them, you know, like I swapped out the POG 2 for the Boss OC5, for example, because it does things in a little more refined manner. Things like, yeah, but it is sometimes difficult to know what to choose, and I'll try swap things in and out as well as much as I can if I think it's going to work. But for the most part, it's stayed the same. Try to do that whole if it's not broken, don't fix it thing, unless it's really good.
That makes sense. We just had a question come in from John Paul from the chat, actually. What amps do you play, and do you have a preference between EL84 versus 6V6 versus 6L6 or something else?
Sorry, what was the first part of the question?
What amps do you play? I mean, obviously we know that you're sponsored by Victory. Is that the proper term, or am I using the wrong term there?
So yeah, kind of like I endorse Victory and I work with on their R&D team. So okay. the amp that I play is the Kraken, the Super Kraken, which is the one that I sort of was able to have a hand in designing with them. So it was in a nutshell, it was kind of like it's not a signature amp by any stretch, but at the same time, I was able to have the final say on how it sounds.
Oh, so, cool. Okay.
So, you know, obviously in one side of the remit was, it needs to be an amp that appeals to people that like high gain tones and metal. But at the same time, it's like my personal taste in high gain tones and metal and stuff like that. So it was a nice blend between being a collaboration and sort of just being part of the R&D team. So that was cool.
Oh, very nice. And then, so what he was asking was, do you have a preference between EL84 versus 6V6 versus 6L6? And I'll be honest, I don't really know what that means myself.
Okay, they're different power tubes. So like,
okay,
most of the time it would be EL34, which is the same tubes you'd find in a Marshall amp, you know, like a JCM 800 or something. Just like the way they sound, bit more mid-range, bit more aggressive. So yeah, they'd be my go-to tubes.
Okay, cool. And then I noticed out there, so I was looking at, I know you're also involved with Chapman. Any idea, out of curiosity, do you know when your signature guitars with them are going to be back in stock, or do you have any idea there?
No.
Because I checked their site, all of your stuff is completely out of stock with them right now.
But yeah, to be honest, Yeah, the COVID thing just screwed it. I really don't. As far as I know, they received a ship. The US and the UK received a shipment like last week or the week before, but I honestly couldn't tell you how many guitars that was. I was told that they're sold out, which is obviously really cool and amazing from my standpoint. But at the same time, I have been messaged quite a few times now, people that just can't even find them, and they've been available for over a year. And no one can get them, so yeah.
It's good to be wanted. That's not a bad thing, of course. Yeah. Scotty's son Dylan has a question here, and Scotty, if I say this incorrectly, feel free to jump in. What was it like being on the biggest shred collaboration, the biggest guitar inspiration?
The Jared thing. Did you say the Jared Dines collab? Is that the one he's referring to?
Yeah, probably, because I know he loves Jared Dine. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, he sent me a message and sort of said, "Do you want to do that?" So yeah, and then sends the track over. It's great because there's obviously going to be all your friends as well playing on it, and you just can't wait to see what they did over it too. So it's exciting. But it's fun. I always try and do it as quick as I can because I don't want to do that thing where you go, oh, but there's going to be loads of great players on it and they're all going to see my part and they're all going to be like, yeah, what if it's not good enough? That kind of thing. So I just try and just get it done as quick as I can.
Yeah, not psych yourself out too much.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad for that. I can second guess myself a lot. So
yeah. And his other one was biggest guitar inspiration. Like I just put it sort of just shorthanded and through it and it made no sense. So yeah, who's your biggest guitar inspiration?
For lead guitar playing, has to be hands down Nuno Betancourt. He's the man. He's the one. He's the OG. If you've not heard of Nuno Betancourt, like just go and listen to any Extreme record.
Got the Pornography album, yeah.
Yes. 3 Sides to Every Story for me is some of his best lead work ever. Just absolute awesome. But like guitarists that have influenced me from a more music songwriting standpoint would be the guys from Carnival, Drew Goddard and Mark Hosking from Carnival, Mike Einzinger from Incubus, Dimebag, who was kind of a bit of a nice mix between the two, lead guitarist and rhythm riff guy. And I think I resonate a lot with Dimebag for that. I like the fat riffs, but I like to play lead too. And Wes Borland from Limp Bizkit. Yeah, Wes Borland's sick.
Yes, he is. Yeah, he's gonna love your answers. I can tell you that now.
Okay, cool.
Thank you for answering them. Cheers.
All right.
Which leads right into my next question. Actually, it's coming from Jim in the group here, and you actually just mentioned Incubus. What's your favorite song of theirs?
That's a tough question. Too many good songs. Honestly, if I had to only listen to one Incubus song ever again, it would probably be The Warmth of Make Yourself.
Okay.
It's just such a good tune. Like when you listen to an album from one of your bands and you're like, I bet that's the one where they sat in the control room after they tracked it and they all did this to each other. That's what I think about.
Yeah. Jim says, cool tune. My band covered that years ago. Such a tune. Yeah,
it's a great one.
Yeah. So a lot of people are thinking that you can only imagine that playing guitar and being a creator and the YouTube stuff that you do, it's got to come with its fair share of mental roadblocks. How do you get past those? And then how do you keep improving your guitar skills and content for your channel?
Yeah, that's tough. I to be honest, I come in and out of struggling with the YouTube thing, like, because it's predominantly like it seems to be gear demos that I've ended up doing on YouTube these days, even though like I love playing bands and write music and do all that stuff. It never makes its way onto YouTube as frequently as pedal demos and stuff. And I sometimes I have a hard time managing like what I actually feel like really excited about putting on YouTube as well. Like, so it's an up and down thing, like trying to make sure that you're making content that you enjoy, but also that people are going to appreciate as well, and not just do the same old all the time. And in terms of keeping inspired, I think, like, on one hand, you know, with the gear demo stuff, if the pedal's great, then that's where the inspiration comes from. Because at the end of the day, if it starts to give you some cool ideas for like riffs and sounds and stuff, that is enough in the video. If I just start like jamming out and I've lost myself for 5-10 minutes, then that probably suggests that I'm enjoying the pedal, and that kind of does the job. But yeah, the other thing is, like, and I don't know whoever else reviews on YouTube, if anybody does that's watching this as well, but like, you have this thing where it's like, I've played the same lick 1,000,000 times in every damn video. And like, it's just one of those things when the camera's not on, you just feel free and you can play whatever. When the camera goes on, for some reason, you're like, your lick vocabulary like shrinks 25%. I don't know why, but it does. But it's for me, for the most part, if I feel like I'm playing music, if I'm playing songs and stuff, that's the most rewarding part for me with the YouTube stuff. But I definitely need to, I have peaks and troughs of evaluating what it is I really want to do on it, if that makes sense. It's a weird platform. It's like Instagram, you know what you can do. You can kind of share your life, share some photos, share cool stuff that you see. Whereas YouTube, it's, I don't know, I find it a little bit more difficult to work out what the true thing is. That like Leo, for example, great example, because it's like metal covers. It's like, that's the thing. Whereas when you yeah, I kind of feel like I float through it a bit without really knowing exactly what I want to do. But as long as I'm doing stuff, I think that's the most important thing. No,
that actually makes perfect sense. Yeah. Me personally, when I was doing the research for this, I was watching a lot of your videos and whatnot, and your Grinding Gears albums were fantastic to get familiar with your style of music and whatnot. And hands down, the thing that I got the most pleasure out of was, I figured when I came across them on YouTube, I was like, okay, I'll be able to just hear the music is playing. Oh no, I get to watch you play them while I'm listening to the music. Oh, this is win-win. So I'm watching you play them. Not only am I actually getting to watch you play them, I'm getting to watch your facial reactions while you're playing them. And I'm not talking about like the guitar face questions we were talking about earlier. The sheer joy that was going across your face as you're playing these songs, the happiness, the joy, the pleasure that was going across your face, I'm equating it to a child on Christmas morning opening their presents. You just had such pleasure, such, again, childlike joy on your face on nearly every single song, every single moment as you're just letting loose with these songs. It was just an absolute pleasure watching you go nuts on all of these. So it was just a lot of fun, and I just simply wanted to say that. The last couple of questions I actually had that were kind of music based, I want to actually hand these back over to Jessica. These songs about, she has a couple of comments about the song Asylum and whatnot. These are more her questions. I want her to ask them so she can give them justice and whatnot. So Jess, I'm going to let you hand those off, and then she'll then hand it over to Aaron for some questions at that point then. And we'll throw a couple of questions that came in on chat at some point as well too. So Jess, if you would.
Why you didn't do me like that, Charlie? Like that.
They were your questions. I'll let you do them justice, of course. So
I did like 20 of these questions. Oh God. I was not expecting that. All right. Let's just jump into it.
You got this.
My heart's racing. I wasn't expecting that.
Sorry, Paul. It's okay, Paul. Take a drink. It's gonna be good.
Let me get my mug. Take a drink.
There you go.
Couple of shots, you'll be fine.
Yep. Tell you what, you do the question. We'll have Scotty take a shot of Fireball while we're doing it.
Now that sounds like more fun.
There you go.
No.
Anders and Fireball. Tall. Oh.
Yeah, we wrecked Scotty on her birthday with Fireball. Pretty badly.
It sort of ended up with me flipping Kai off at one point from the floor.
Literally, yes.
I'm so glad everyone, like everybody we've worked with had actually left by then, so it's not so bad. I don't think they'd have been working with us again. It was bad. Moving on quickly.
Okay, moving on. So I love your song Asylum. I love it a lot. And I was trying to formulate a question in my head. And while I was doing a bunch of research for this, I did come across somebody that had commented on your videos, and I was like, that's exactly what I've been trying to, get out of my head for a question. So I borrowed this gentleman's question. His name is John Easter. How do you get the perfect amount of dirty / almost clean ambient tones in Asylum, where you've got the exact right amount of low end and high end and the perfect amount of dirt and doesn't overly sound compressed or anything?
It was a stereo rig, so it was 2 amps, and there's loads of reverb and delay on it, and I think I added a compressor on just a little bit on the pedal. And I think, to be honest, what I generally do for that, the general idea behind that kind of sound is that the pickup is high output, so it's quite it's quite a gainy pickup, and I find that you get more dynamic response from having the higher output pickup and less gain on the amp than the other way around. It's almost like the compression from an amplifier, by turning the gain up, doesn't give you as much dynamic response, which is obvious, that than a guitar with a high output pickup, which is essentially the same thing. It's more compression. It's a weird thing, but I've always found that to do that, so it's the kind of thing where you put the gain at a point where if you play lightly, it's not very gainy, but the harder you pick the same note, it starts to break up and break up and break up. And so in that song, for the most part, and that was one of the most difficult parts about recording it, was that about halfway through, when I start playing harder, you can hear the amount of gain in the sound. But what that did mean was, for the most part of the song, you have to play really gently, which is great. But that's the thing with that sound. Yeah. So,
that's one of those songs where I usually have all my volume turned up all the way in my car, and then that one pops on and my windows shake at the start of that song. I know where we are.
Because it's just guitar. I could have all the low end I wanted. Usually you take that out when you're mixing guitars, but I had all the low end in on the pedals. I didn't take anything out on the amps or anything like that, so that's why it's so resonant and big.
Yeah. I love that song. I play it all the time in my car. I love it. We both listen to it quite a bit.
Absolutely.
And it's funny, actually. Before I wrote this, I was speaking with Eric earlier. I was showing him some Polyphia songs that I like, and then he was sending me some songs by Corey Wong. And we listened to Corey Wong before, and we're like, a genius. He's an amazing guitar player. And then I remembered you have a song called "Don't Get Me Wong."
Yeah.
And I do. It's one you do with I think Pete's on there. Danish Pete is on there. Yeah. So obviously you were kind of inspired to write that kind of groovy tone based on the Corey Wong style of playing. And you think you had his pickups you were using for that song?
The plugin is the Corey.
The plugin, yeah. Are there any other guitarists that you think that you would want to put out there for us as fans to listen to? Like, who should we be adding to our playlist right now? Some like kind of up and coming guitarists.
I don't know. Like, I don't feel very up to date with guitarists, I suppose. Like, I mean, you already know who Pliny is, I'm assuming, because his latest album I really enjoy. It's really good. Like, Pliny was one of those guitarists. The other albums I wasn't as big a fan of, but the latest one, I feel like he's come into his own stylistically. It's very much a unique album compared to his other stuff, so I'm really impressed with that. But yeah, no, I don't know. In fact, and I'm not just saying this, but the sickest guitar playing that I heard recently was on Troll's EP. That's honestly the sickest guitar playing I've heard recently, and I'm not just saying it, man.
Hell yes, it was. Yep.
But there is. I agree.
Yeah, there is some scary good guitar playing on there, man. Sick. And also on the cover, the Power Rangers cover, that I said to Leo, I was like, please, for the love of God, don't let us play this one live. Either Trolls has got to do the solo and all the singing, and I've got to play double bass like stupid fast, or the other way around. And I can't play shred as good as that, so we'd be screwed if we had to do that one live. But I don't know. When you've asked me that question now, I mean, Joey Landreth, like Ariel Posen, these guys, like, I'm not really in the stuff that I listen to guitar wise now would be, yeah, guys like that. Joey Landreth, Ariel Posen from the Brothers Landreth. They're amazing players. I don't know. Now that you've asked me, I'm like, it's all gone from my mind.
Gone.
Let me just think. You know what? If I jump on Instagram for 10 seconds, I bet you anything I'll find something. Just because I feel like I should recommend something.
How did you enjoy that Power Rangers video?
Really good. Really, really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was so good. The banana in the spandex killed me. It's so good. And also when Trolls couldn't get his croc back on his foot, he's trying to either kick it off or get it back on, and that just killed me as well. Right, guitarist Miles Josnowski. He doesn't really have a lot of original music, but his Instagram is just such a good place for some tasty ass bluesy funky guitar playing. It's called Miles Josnowski. I would highly recommend him. Awesome player. That's it, isn't it? It's funny now, isn't it? You know, rather than having like guitarists that have released a wicked album, we're all like, check out his Instagram profile. Yeah, there's some great playing on there. You know.
Well, you find stuff at random places. We find music all over the place, and we'll have nights where we just deep dive either it's YouTube or it's Spotify or even Instagram, and it's like, oh, write that one down. That one sounds cool. You know, keep diving. What more people like they like stuff. So however you find it, do it.
Actually, I'm going to give a shout out to him. Laura's still here, but Luke had to go. Two of the people that were on the call today are from a band out of the UK, Esoterica. Scotty stumbled across them from an Instagram ad and checked them out completely out of the blue. Scotty loves them. I flipping love them. They're phenomenal. They're some of our favorite people. We've had them on 2 different interviews now. They're second only to you Frog League people for the number of interviews we've done so far. They're phenomenal musicians. So, yeah.
Right.
We love you, Laura.
Indeed.
I bet she stepped away. Oh, no, she's seen it. She's seen it. She was like, thank you for
You're welcome for the shout out. No worries.
All right. Well, that's the end of my surprise round of questions. I'm going to hand you off to Erin in Australia.
You're welcome, Jessica.
Hello.
Hello.
So my first question is, can you tell us about the binary code on the covers of the Grinding Gears albums?
Yes. Yeah, so each one of those references, hang on a minute, I need to make sure I get this right now. It's from the day I was born until when the EP was released and converted to, that's it. So it's the number of days that I've been alive from when it was till when it was released. So from when I was born to, and then converted to binary. That's what that is.
That is wicked.
Yeah. That wasn't my idea. That was actually a very close friend of ours who designs a lot of the artwork and stuff for various projects, called Johnny Jaffa, and he's a really cool guy. And he was like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this thing on the front cover. It's basically binary converted from when you were born to the day it was released. What do you think? Right. It was one of those.
Rabea, I'm a computer guy, and the binary was bugging the crap out of me trying to figure out what that meant. It really was. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, that's what it is.
Excellent. That is so clever. That is really clever. Do you have any more covers planned with Hannah? And if you guys take song requests, how can your fans put that to you?
We don't have anything planned in. We did record a cover, which would be really cool to put out, but we just need to film the bit, the video. Basically, we haven't filmed that bit yet, but that would be really cool to do. in terms of the other stuff, it's just been whilst there's been COVID restrictions. Because when we filmed that one, we got it. That was when they sort of reduced the restrictions for a bit, so we could get in the studio with a bunch of people, like a team of people, and make it happen. But then when they heightened the restrictions again, we haven't been able to. But in terms of like requests, yeah, like there isn't a sort of direct area to request. But yeah, if there's a song that you'd like us to do, then let me know. You know,
We're taking requests.
Yeah.
Got a list.
Yeah.
What's the best way to let you know? Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram's cool. Well, actually, saying that, you could just email rabeaafro@gmail.com. That's my email. So, which is on my Instagram anyway. If you were to click email, it would take you there anyway. So that would be cool, because Instagram's weird how it doesn't always show you the people that have messaged you, which I discovered recently, much to my I was horrified, because you jump on there and you're like, oh cool, message so and so, and then you looked in the top corner and it's like requests, and you're like, you go on there and it's literally like all the people that want to message you for whatever, just say, hey, how's it going? And you it doesn't even register on your phone that someone sent you a message. So you're like, to all these people, I look like the biggest asshole that's just basically just ghosted every single message that's come in. Felt so bad about it.
I discovered that too for myself the other day on Instagram, and I felt so bad that I'd ignored a couple of messages, but I'm like, it just did not show up.
Yeah. So
Damn you, technology.
Yeah. So to avoid that happening, I reckon email's probably best.
Beautiful. And we will pop that link on our video too. Make sure that is shown for you guys. Now, your music seems to blend into multiple genres. Like you do something that nearly everyone we know would find appealing. Would you ever consider doing a hip hop or an R&B collaboration? And if so, is there someone that you go, oh yeah, I'd work with them?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't shy away from the opportunity to try, because for me, I think if you listen to that kind of music, then there's if you write music but you listen to all kinds of different genres, as far as I'm concerned, when you're working on that style of material, you're just trying to conjure up. It's almost like you're trying to mimic it. I don't know if that makes sense. It's almost like the thought process I think to myself is, so for example, that Don't Get Me Wrong song that I did, it's like a really funky thing. In my head, I'm imitating the sound of that style, if that makes sense, in my own way. So I'm writing my own chord progression, for example, but in terms of the thought process, I'm imitating. And so for R&B and hip hop and stuff, I would just take that approach and would rely on the person that's I'm collaborating with, that they're more comfortable in that genre than me. But I would definitely love to try. Though I don't know many artists in that world either. So it's the kind of thing where if I felt like someone came to me and sort of said, you're up for a collaboration, I would definitely have a go at that. But yeah, I wouldn't know where to start in terms of who to chat to about it. So I don't know if that was a helpful answer.
I know it was.
Definitely something we can keep our ear to the ground on, no question.
Nice.
As of lately, you seem to be doing more and more teaching and instructional courses. And did you have any previous experience doing guitar lessons? And do you see these instructional boot camps becoming a big part of your channel and an all over brand?
No. So with that, it was that. So the musicism course was obviously Ben, the drummer in Tosca. It's his company, so he wanted to chat about doing a new course, and it was more of something we knew we could do together because it's progressive rock. We're in the same band, and we could kind of figure out how to come up with something. So it was very much just a natural collaboration course thing to do, less so of I'm trying to go down the route of tuition. And then the Water Bear stuff was, again, it was sort of through friends that Rob was friends with the guys at Water Bear, and then they wanted some sort of extracurricular, what you would call, I guess, contextual learning. So take the idea of improvisation as a subject, and then I guess I would chat about how I'd go about improvising, you know, so I put it into context and give them some examples, and just sort of very much just waffle my way through a half an hour video, just sort of going, yeah, like this kind of thing. And they wanted it to be very informal. So again, because I really don't have theoretical training, the most amount of tuition I got from sort of guitar and music in any way was whilst I was at ACM, and that was sort of chord charts, and that's about it. Maybe some modal stuff. But you know, like most musicians, I think, or a lot of musicians nowadays, self-taught. So I don't really, I only know a handful of core useful information that I can share. So no, I don't think my channel I would go down the tuition route strictly. I think it's more like if I've got something that I think is useful to share, then, and perspective to share, then I would just do that. So yeah, and things like helping Ben out with musicism, doing a course like that or something, that's more from a friend standpoint. So yeah.
Awesome. Now we're gonna throw in some fun little random questions now.
Okay.
Now, are you prepared to take responsibility for the apocalypse that will follow if you ever shave or lose the fro?
Yeah, I totally knew that. I don't know if it was my mum said you've shot yourself in the foot. You realise? I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, you know, everything's got your fro on it, whether it's your guitar or like your logo or like whatever it is. Yeah, to be honest, we were saying earlier, like, what if I just start losing it? You know, I'm just gonna have to come out. I'm just gonna have to shave. I will shave it clean off. Like, I've always had a skinhead. Like, I've always had shaved hair before my afro. You know, we started the band. They're like, well, you're gonna have to grow your hair into an afro because, you know, you're the only person we know that can grow an afro. So I did that, and yeah, I don't know.
Peer pressure.
Yeah, it felt a little bit like, well, I may as well. I'm in a band now, you know, bands grow their hair. So let's give it a go, see what it looks like. And yeah, I've got a really bad habit of pulling it as well. Like, I do this all the time. And there was one time a few years ago where I did it so bad that I'd shortened like the front of my hair, like all this bit. And I remember shooting a video and turning sideways, and it was like short, and then it went up like that at the back. And I remember looking at it and being absolutely horrified. So I've had to like wean off doing this too much now. It's a really bad habit. So, but yeah, I think a lot of people would unsubscribe if I shaved it off.
What is your favorite guilty pleasure music to listen to?
That's a really good question. I do like some Larry drum and bass. I do like a bit of filthy dubstep. And then on the other side of it, you know, like, I do enjoy a really well-written pop song, like a proper, you know, like, I'm not gonna lie, some Ed Sheeran, absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
You know, even some Justin Bieber, I would say, is actually pretty well written. Whether or not he wrote it, I don't know, but the actual song, the structure, the hooks, everything, you know, it's like fair play. It's a you know, because it's really hard to write that music that's that successful like it is. That's why they have huge teams that do it. So I think, as much as it might be a guilty pleasure, it's also like, I'm fascinated by the simplicity of it and all the rest of it. You know, sometimes you listen to it and you're like, that is so simple, I could write that, but you're like, well, no, I couldn't write that, because that's why they're so successful, because they're so good at just coming up with something that simple. It's a real art form. But yeah, probably some Larry drum and bass.
And
you just seen Kai's face.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah. Kai's laughing so hard at you right now.
I know he's laughing, but like,
but you're not wrong. I mean, obviously he pulls down millions of dollars with that friggin' music. So hey,
don't let him laugh at you. You ask him about his DJing days.
He's only known me as a metal musician, so But back in the day when I had a skinhead and I used to have little lines shaved into my eyebrow,
Oh,
like a little chav. And I used to have a chain back up north where I used to live because, like, you know, you had to kind of, I'd get picked on if I looked like this up there. So
I'm a little disappointed I didn't know you when you was young now. That would be fun.
And used to go partying and stuff like that with like drum and
Yeah.
bass, dubstep, all sorts of house.
Yeah, it's good to know your guilty pleasures.
House music, and we
yeah.
definitely would have fun at Kai DJ days.
Yeah, house is good as well. Like some house I like as well. Like, and I'm not even kidding. Like some of my friends, whoever's watching it, Hannah's probably watching this downstairs, going, "You don't listen to any of that." That's completely. But you know, sometimes I do. I like chill step, if they call it that too. There's this type of there's an artist that I'm just going to recommend now, real quick, since I'm on my computer and I can do this. It's called, and I'm going to recommend it because it's a really fun little tune. Corey, where is it? Corey. Sorry, look at this. I'm holding it up.
It's worth it. It's worth it. We'll wait.
Yeah.
yeah, do it.
Oh no, more recommendations. How horrible.
That's
Golly gee, aren't that a shame?
What did I?
Oh, group secretary, are you writing this down?
Yeah.
Of course I am. You know that.
Kori, yeah, Kori is the name of it. It's called Down. It's down tempo is the genre apparently, but it's just chill. It's just chilled music, like very different to what I would normally listen to. There's a song called "Safe at Last," which is it's got this really cool ethereal female vocal in it, but when it drops, when the beat comes in, it's just great. So
Nice. We're going to check that out.
Are you looking that up right now?
I'm looking to make sure we don't already have it on the list.
Do you have any favorite movies or TV shows?
yes, movies. The Matrix, the first one. Because I mean that how old will I have been when that came? That was 99. Was it 99 when that came out? I was still in.
Yeah, that sounds right.
yeah.
I was still at primary school when that came out.
It was like 2 days ago. It came out 22 years ago.
Yes.
It came out 22 years ago.
Yeah, it was like March 31st, 22 years ago. It just came out. Yeah.
I was 10. That's crazy.
Oh, same.
Wow. But yeah, so that is just such a good film, and it defined cinematography from that point for modern filmmaking. You know, the whole colored filter thing and like just some of the tricks they used in that was like, for me, it was just mind blowing. And I wanted to wear like a big black trench coat and like big boots and like have guns strapped to my coats, and I wanted to be that guy. I wanted to drop the duffel bag on the floor and whip out the Uzis. Like I just wanted to do that. What other good films? What other good films? Oh, this is every time someone asks me a question like, "What's your favorite thing?" Every single film pops into my head. The Green Mile killed me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Destroyed me. Did that film?
yeah.
And you can't not start a film and stop it. You have to go all the way through with that. Yeah.
I was fine. Like the film credits rolled, and I was like, I'm all right. I'm all right. And then, you know, the more that the credits roll, the music, and you're like, oh, I'm not all right.
Yes.
Yep. And that movie has you crying multiple times through it. It's horrendous. It's
Yeah,
brilliant.
I was completely destroyed after that film, but it's a great film. Man on Fire, that's another one. Heavy film, but a great film. Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes.
Fire, is that Denzel Washington?
Man on Fire, Denzel Washington. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just harsh, man. It's a good film though. It's good. Again, now
I remember seeing it at the cinema, and when the credits started rolling, I'm just like, holy shit. Like that was just
Yeah. TV shows wise, I love Rick and Morty, love Family Guy, but that's like easy, mindless watching, you know. Yeah. To be honest, I don't watch a lot of TV anymore. I watch a lot of skateboarding videos on YouTube, but I don't watch a lot of TV, like TV shows and stuff. We like series. Obviously, we've done the Breaking Bad and stuff, and we just watched all of Game of Thrones again. Like, why would you go through all of it again? But we did, because we were in lockdown. There's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So like, we could watch all of Game of Thrones, and that's what we did. But I wanted to suggest some other great films, but off the top of my head, I can't think of any. Yeah, Tenet, apparently. I want to see that. I haven't seen that yet, but apparently Tenet's amazing. But Inception, that's another fantastic film.
All good ones.
Anyway.
What are some of your like favorite stories you like to tell, like from your touring days or anything? It doesn't have to be Frog Leap or other bands or solo gigs. Is there any stories you go, oh yeah, I so have to share that?
What's funny is that I think like if I was to daydream about what touring life would be compared to what it's like, it's completely different. Like I remember thinking, you know, when you just like you just imagine really hard what it might be like, and you just like camera pans around the tour bus, someone's like passed out on the side, there's like JD on the floor, like people half naked on the floor and all this kind of stuff. Like maybe that's what you think when you're a teenager and like, yeah, but actually it's not like that at all. Everyone's just chilling, sat doing their own thing on their phone, doing this, or like chatting something or playing video game or lying on their bed. It's very, very chill, quite boring. Maybe that's because we're all more chilled out people. I don't know. It's usually after the show that it gets pretty leery. There's this one time when one of the things I like to do is on the Dorje tours, I used to have control of Rob's amplifier, because there was a bit in the song where I would press a button and I would then my guitar would come out of both mine and his amplifier to make it sound like it was bigger. But I had the opportunity to turn it off as well. So in sound check, we'd be playing away and he'd be like really getting into it, and I'd just turn his guitar amp off and he thought it was broken. He'd like be looking around like. And there was one time where I really took it as far as I could, and he was really, really upset. Like, he stood on stage, like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't figure out where this problem's coming from. And we got one of the sound engineers to come on stage, and he's like looking at the amp, and he's like lifting it and unplugging everything. And I was just stood there the whole time, just like smiling like a Cheshire cat, just thinking, when they find out it's me that's just going whenever I want, he's going to kill me. And I've actually got it on video somewhere, probably on my phone somewhere. I might have to put that on Facebook when I find it. But yeah,
please do.
He was really upset. I know he doesn't look too bad in the video. I think he swears at me, but then afterwards, I think he was pretty upset about it.
Okay, you telling that story prompts me to have to tell a story now. So this Friday morning that Kai reaches out to me to give me the word that you had said yes to us doing this interview, I reached out to Jessica and Scotty and said, hey guys, can we do a quick video call? So they do a quick video call with me, and I'm like, guys, I don't know how to say this. I'm sorry. I really, so I'm making it seem like somebody died or something, basically. I really don't know how to say this. Charlie, what's wrong? What is it? I'm just gonna have to come out and say it. Rabea said yes. There was about 3 seconds of silence. Then they started swearing at me. Jess was crying. That they're just yelling at me and very happy, but they're yelling at me. I'm on the floor laughing so hard because I completely pranked them.
It was like 3 a.m. my time, so I was asleep. So I got to hear about this after, and that was epically fun.
Yeah, we hate him. He's terrible.
Yeah, I was in the doghouse for a long time on that one, but I was like, oh, that was just too great of a prank to not pull. So yeah.
Oh no, that's cool. And yeah, like I was trying to think of another really funny thing that happened on tour. Obviously, there was the time we played in Hungary, and Dan, our tour manager at the time, took a bottle of vodka. They told us off afterwards because they closed the bar, and we were all like, we had a great gig. And they closed the bar and they wouldn't let us take any more vodka. And I think Dan was just like, you know what? We've had a great gig. I'm going to take the vodka. So he took the And then we got an email the next day like, yeah, we've got we saw on the camera your manager helped himself to the vodka. I had to send a letter of apology. So that was quite funny. But it was no one in the band, you know. We're all like, you know, we play by the rules, but we drank the vodka, so kind of played by the rules. But yeah, I think that's about the most mental. And also, Anders jumped in the river on that gig. I'm not sure how healthy that was for his body with whatever kind of shit was in that water, but he didn't think twice about it. That was funny.
Yeah, he's a bit crazy, and bless his heart.
Yeah, Anders. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, But yeah, no, we generally speaking, we have a fairly reserved existence on tour, really. I think that's fair to say. Maybe that'll change when we come. Well, in fact, I think when we come back and we can tour again, everyone's going to be like, "Oh my god, we're on tour! We need to just do everything," because we're going to do it again. So
yeah, I think Trolls is going to have some boobs to sign.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
Got his pen ready. It's ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm single also. That helps.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gonna be butt pinching, boob signing. It's gonna be mental.
Yeah, your cheeks are going to be, your bum cheeks
There
are
it
going
was.
to be red. Girls are going to be pinching your bum on tour.
Our last Q&A with Esoterica, we were feeding them all kinds of practical jokes to pull on each other from when they tour. So yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Poor Leo, he's just gonna have a load of bras and panties on stage for him. Have fun.
He looked so upset about it.
Yes.
So sad.
Tear.
I know. It's okay.
During lockdown, have you learned any new hobbies or skills or anything to entertain yourself?
Aside from the skateboarding, which took off so it would have been this time, was actually this time last year when I picked it up again. That's been the main thing that I've done for the last year, is put all my energy outside of music into that, which has been really fun. Yeah, pretty much that, to be honest. I started doing a bit more drawing on my iPad and things like that, but to be honest, with the way lockdown is, you just kind of want to be outside more. So it's been whatever opportunity I could have to get outside, I'll be doing that. So walking the dog or skating. But at the minute, I'm just waiting for this to heal. So I'll be going for walks, I think. But yeah, that's definitely been the main hobby of last year, for sure.
Speaking of art, my friend, sorry, Aaron, I wanted to show you this one earlier, but is it? It's not, it's not doing it. I
can kind of see my giddy looking face.
1 second, let me get rid of that for a minute. There we go. Oh no, you can see everything else. There you go. There you are.
Yeah, that's cool. That's well cool.
Yeah, my friend does it. And basically he's doing me, everybody, that sounds wrong. He's getting me pictures of like all of the Frog Leap ones. I've got Leo and Bunny, and obviously you. And then I've just got the others to get, and that's me done. And I've got my set for my living room.
That's wicked.
Yeah, I said to him, I'll have to remember to show you. And he was like, let me know what he says about, I'll show you the video.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
And is there any advice that you'd love to spread the word to your fans?
Advice on anything? Or?
Anything that pops into your head that you'd love to share?
To be honest, I would say I guess, to be honest, I would probably say something along the lines of try, I guess, because we're talking about very broad general advice. So I'd try and apply it to my perspectives on stuff, I suppose. But like, try and either through the lockdown period, or what if you've got the time to invest in finding out what your like strengths are and skills are and things that sort of make you feel good that you can do for yourself, whether that's creative or you know, any kind of activity or anything that you can do that makes you feel good and makes you feel like you're progressing at something and gives you fulfillment. And I think if you can find that, I think it's really important to invest energy into it, because it's all about I feel like it's all about feeling fulfilled in life now. Like, it's really easy to get distracted and just think about making sure that you can pay the bills and do all that stuff. But actually, something that, again, not to get all philosophical on it, but skating taught me for the last year was actually, it's something as simple as standing on a piece of wood with 4 wheels riding around on the concrete that makes me forget about all the problems, any frustrations, any stress, anything like that. And it's like, yeah, it's an invaluable thing to be able to do whenever, you know, every day, or like, it's just an invaluable thing to be able to do that and just switch off. So, and that happens through being in a state of flow or being in a state of like contentment, like whatever it is you can find that allows you to get into that headspace where you just switch off from those stresses and those worries. I think now more than ever, it's important to invest time in finding out what those are. So that would be my general advice.
That's so good.
Good advice.
Cool.
Now, Charlie, was there any other questions that has popped up through the chat at all?
No, I think that was pretty much everything we gotten. So, oh, I'm sorry, take that back. Yeah, we did have a couple I missed. I apologize. Yeah. So Scotty had one that came in earlier. I'm guessing this was from her son as well. What do you think of guitarists like, and if I get these names incorrect, I apologize. Tim Henson, Angel Vivaldi, Stephen Toronto, and Sithu I.
Yeah.
Pushing progressive instrumental music and a technical play style.
Yeah, I mean, Tim Henson from Polyphia, very cool guitar player. Yeah, I think he had a big journey, actually. I would have said before, like, really cool guitar player, but apparently he was an asshole. But I think he's changed that now. He seems to be quite a nice guy these days, apparently. For me, like, I have a thing where, like, you know, in music, like, I don't like arrogance and I don't like big egos, and so it's nice to, I think it's nice to, you know, obviously be confident, but like, there's a point where, for me, if you just take that too far, I'm not fussed. But anyway, yeah, Polyphia are cool. Tim Henson's cool. It's a style that is very hard to play. Like, it's very mechanical, very precise. It would take a long time for me to learn how to play like that. Stephen Toronto is ridiculous, absolute monster shredder. Yeah, I mean, all those guys, they're all great players. Yeah, I recommend them all. Like, they're all, I mean, the level of guitar playing nowadays is insane. So easy to jump on. You could literally go on Instagram and go flick, flick, flick. I want to quit.
Yeah, he plays guitar, and these are like some of the people he likes the style of. So he's really pushing it and trying to like learn that kind of style. I'm like, oh, babe.
It's a great style to learn. I think for me, you know, I would look at the source of where they learned that style. So it sounds like there's a lot of jazz fusion. There's a lot of, obviously, like, lead, shreddy, 80s hair metal stuff going on there. And try and work out where they've got their influences from.
Yeah.
So.
And then we had one more question come in, also from Jim. I like the reaction videos you've done recently. Saw the While She Sleeps Sheffield band one you did. They're such cool guys. Jim used to do music promotion and had booked them in his local town of Wakefield. Do you have any plans to do any more reaction videos?
That While She Sleeps band's funny because my mum's really good friends with one of the band members' mums. That's how While She Sleeps. My mum's friends with one of their mums, which is quite cool. The reason I stopped doing them was because they kept getting flagged for copyright and taken down. And you don't know until you put it. So you don't know until you've edited it and you do it all, and then you upload it, and then you wait a couple of minutes, and then it goes, it's taken down. So you have to do all the work first without having a clue if it's going to get copywritten, and then it does, and it's like happened 3 or 4 times, I think, and was like, just a waste of time. So it was annoying because I really wanted to put more time to just do something different on the channel that was easy to, you could just jump on, sit down, put a YouTube video on, sort of, react, and then that would go online. It was a nice quick thing to do, but obviously didn't work.
That sucks.
Well, I get where they're coming from, but that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, we tried a couple of times to like reach out to the labels, and that's how we got I did a bleed from within one. So I actually had to get the label to whitelist the video directly. And then I had Spine Farm Records reach out to me directly and say, do you want to check out any of our band's latest music videos? We will whitelist them. But then I felt that was cool, but it was also like, then it was a bit biased. Do you know what I mean? It's not really a reaction video if you're going to watch one label's bands. And if you go, it was shit, I didn't like it, they're not going to ask you to do it again, are they?
And
Right.
blacklisted
Makes perfect
again.
sense. Yep. Yeah. So Aaron, go ahead and pop the final question then, if you would.
Did you have another one?
Did I?
Yeah. If you
Go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah. So our final question we kind of like to end on is what is the best piece of advice you have ever received?
Sorry, my bad.
No worries.
Um,
Whether it's professional, personal.
There's a few. The one that sticks out that's done really well for me in my career was from my friend Matt Hornby, who I did the Soundlight episodes with. And he said, and he wasn't trying to teach me anything. He just sort of said it off the cuff. And he was like, the thing is though, he goes, when you're asking somebody, unless they say the word no, like the word no, it's technically still possible. They could still say yes. And it was this kind of thought process in my head that was like, well, yeah, that's so true. And so when I've been asking to work with brands, or like, for example, like if there's a piece of gear that I'd really like to try out, so with Strymon, this is a great example. When I first started working with Strymon, I was desperate to try out their pedals. So I emailed them, hey, I really like your pedals. Can I try it out? No reply. Hey, I really like your pedal. Can I try it out? No reply. Did this for about 3 weeks, and I finally got a reply. And I just thought, no one ever said no, stop emailing me, so I'm just going to carry on. Now, that's not exactly, I'm not advising everyone to constantly hound people to get what you want. I'm not saying that. But at the same time, it was a certain confidence in knowing that they didn't say no, so I'm just going to keep going for it. And I found that to be quite a useful mindset when you're working in a professional setting, I think. Yeah, other than that, I don't really know. I think that's probably the best one I can pull off the top of my head at 10 to 11 on a Saturday night.
No, that's a great piece of advice. I've actually been using that mentality professionally lately myself, is if you ask the question, the answer could be no, but if you never ask the question, the answer will never be yes.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
yeah.
It sounds really obvious, and it's the kind of thing you say to someone, or they'd say to you, and you go, yeah, of course, yeah, obviously. But when you actually take it in and use it properly, yeah, actually, it's quite valuable, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Brilliant phrasing and brilliant sentiment to go ahead and end our Q&A on here today. So Rabea, just thank you very much again, sir, for doing this with us. We really appreciate you spending the time.
I'm really happy you did this. I'm so happy.
Yep.
I appreciate it, and it's nice to be sat here and I can see the entire Frog Leap crew as well. That's wicked. Feel right at home.
Yep. And just to reiterate a previous point, sitting next to Jess there is Sam. Sam, this is Rabea. Rabea, this is Sam.
Okay, this isn't fair because the first time I met you was
At NAM,
a
right?
year before, a NAM before, and it was Sunday. It was the last day. We had
a long weekend.
one too many beers. And I went up and I asked for a picture with you. We took our pictures, and then I just walked away. And he later was like, "Were you gonna see if I wanted to have a picture with Rabea?" And I was like, "I'm so sorry."
Yeah,
That's
completely
amazing.
ignored him. Yeah.
I just straight just ignored. He took the picture and I just walked off.
So between that joke a couple of times and telling the story of how I revealed you're saying yes to doing the Q&A with us, I'm going to get shot later today, basically. That's what's going to end up happening. So yes,
You're a dead man, Charlie.
I am.
Also, as well, if you look at Jess's fiance Sam, he's our stunt Leo. He's our lookalike.
Yeah.
Get your face in here.
If the beard was gone.
Yeah, just gonna
we
nip
need
that
to-
off.
Yeah.
There you go. Hold on.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Twins
Perfect.
separated at birth. Can't tell the difference.
Dogs are a good bunch for a laugh.
So you know, when we met the next time, the first thing I did is I said hello and I said, "This is Sam,"
Yeah, that is true.
because I felt like real shit because I did that the first time.
I was joking.
You were not.
I
Well, yeah, thank you so much for everybody's time and all the great questions as well. It's been really nice to chat to you all.
It was most definitely our pleasure. We look forward to it. We'll have this.
Absolutely.
We'll have this up in a week or two, and all the different things we mentioned we'll link to. We'll include your Instagram, your website, all that fun stuff, of course. So thank you again for this. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Be well, be safe, and we look forward to seeing you out on tour with Frog Leap, yourself at NAM, wherever soon, of course. So
Yeah. I've got just to say as well, I have a new record coming out at the end of April. So
Oh, cool.
check
Awesome.
it out. It's called The Totemist. So you might like it. It's alt rock.
Excellent.
I guarantee we will. Yes. Yep.
Nice. All right. Well, yeah. Thank you for having me, and I hope you all have a great day, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
again,
you so
sir.
much for doing this.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. Have a great one.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.